Does Matt Rhule break through in year 3 like he did at Temple and as he did at Baylor? I say yes. Here are 10 reasons why Nebraska will compete for the college football playoff this fall. Reason number 1 is the staff upgrades the Cornhuskers have made. I'm not just talking about Dana Holgorsen replacing Marcus Satterfield, who was an awful play caller. Not just talking about him. I am talking about Nebraska bringing in Da'Keel Shorts Jr. from Kentucky as their wide receivers coach, Terry Braden coming from the Chiefs to be the D-line coach, Phil Simpson coming in to coach outside linebackers, Addison Williams coming in to coach DB, Mike Eckler coming in to coach the special teams, and also Phil Snow reuniting with Matt Rhule. Those collectively are huge staff upgrades. I thought personally that Nebraska's initial staffs under Rhule were some of the worst in the Big Ten. I think it was part of the reason why they looked the way they did last year and in 2023, especially in games where they clearly had the talent advantage, and yet they were coached around like they were tied to a pole and the opposing coaching staff was circling them with a monster truck. It was awful. The way they got outcoached by Illinois, Indiana, they got outcoached by Iowa, UCLA last year, even USC, and then the prior year we could talk about how they started off 5-3 and finished 0-4. Before we resume this segment, please take a few seconds of your time to make sure you have liked the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell for the channel and for any team podcasts and playlists linked in the description, and also comment your thoughts down below in the comment section and join my Discord server via the description. All of those things I just asked you to do are completely free, and they sign you up for things related to my channel, or they don't sign you up for anything. No cost to you, and all the benefit to you because we release daily college football content here on College Football with Sam. If you want to support the channel monetarily, sign up for a YouTube membership or check any other links in the description for my merchandise store and Patreon page. Thank you very much, and let's get back to the segment. Those staffs were, I think, by Nebraska standards and Blue Blood standards, bad. By Blue Blood standards, minus Nebraska, horrific. This is a good staff this year. It's a great staff. Most positions where they lost coaches, they upgraded there. In fact, I'd argue they do that at every position, minus Tony White. I think Tony White to John Butler is a slight downgrade, but probably not as massive as a downgrade as some might think. Reason number 2 is Dana Holgorsen, the man himself, the new offensive coordinator. Play calling and development will dramatically improve as Holgorsen is going to get to oversee so much. Obviously going to have a hand in the quarterback situation and development, I would imagine, and be the primary play caller. A head coach, next head coach, and one who was pretty good on offense when he was a head coach, now calling plays. That's all he's focused on. I think that him and Raiola and this offense are going to be a wonderful match made in heaven this year. Reason number 3 is the physical offensive line. Nebraska has not had a great offensive line in ages. You probably have to go back to maybe a point in the Bo Pelini era. Maybe it's even further back from that, and you have to go back to Frank Solich or Tom Osborne. They have the potential to field one this year. And the names behind that are Justin Evans, Sam Sledge, Rocco Spindler, and Henry Lutovsky. Also think about Elijah Pritchett, Gunnar Katula, and Teddy Prohaska. They have, I'd say, 7 playable, serviceable, Big Ten caliber or better offensive linemen. They have their best O-line in years, and I think you are going to see that this season when they go up against some of these better defensive lines that they've struggled against in the past, and whereas last year Nebraska ran for 3.8 yards per carry, and if you adjusted for sacks, it'd be low 4, I think that this season you're going to see them run in a much more effective way. Not just because of the scheme upgrades from Holgorsen, which are probably more important than the slight player upgrades in the O-line, but you'll also see more size, more physicality, more depth, better response to injuries, etc. I'm excited to see this Cornhusker offensive line in action. Number 4 is Dylan Raiola. Dylan Raiola only isn't higher on the list because he already was very impactful last season. He's also an obvious reason why they'll break through. And if Raiola didn't have a better play caller or more physical offensive line, I would not be picking Nebraska to break through. Like Holgorsen, on top of really adding Spindler and the staff upgrades they made, like changing special teams coordinator, those are the biggest reasons, straight up. Raiola is a huge reason, though, because entering his sophomore year from freshman, he now has 100% more of preseason work and training than he did last season entering the fall of 2024. I love him to be a top 15 quarterback this year. He could be top 10. He could even be top 5. I do think Lagway will be better, but I'm using that as an example to say Lagway's getting insane hype that Raiola isn't getting. And while I think Lagway, and I believe he will be better than Raiola, Raiola isn't that much worse than Lagway as maybe the media is portraying him to be. So keep that in mind. Number 5, and Nebraska people know that, by the way. Reason number 5 are the Big Ten athletes at receiver they have. They got Dane Key, Neziah Hunter, and they also have Ja'Cory Barney Jr. Ja'Cory Barney Jr. was a breakout true freshman last year, should be much better this year. You also have the incoming transfers, Neziah Hunter, and you got to pause for Dane Key. You got to pause for Dane Key because Dane Key has improved every year at Kentucky despite the quarterback situation spiraling out of control. So this column of reasons here, the staff upgrades, Holgorsen is a footnote to that, the O-line, Raiola, and the receivers are the biggest reasons. A lot of this obviously having to do with the offensive side of the ball. Let's look at the second column of reasons here. So number 6 is year 3 of Matt Rhule as its own reason, just the trend and obeying that for some other reasons that are tied in, but mostly the fact that he was willing to make staff changes. This is his best roster by a mile at Nebraska, I think. Or at least, if it's not significantly better than last season's, the new staff will much better utilize this roster than last year's staff did. Rhule's a history of breaking through. He has year 3 of establishing his culture. And last season, they finally had a winning record. So I think the shackles of that losing mentality Nebraska had for years, they are being unlocked. And that doesn't mean it's totally gone, but the fact that they went to a bowl game and had a winning year despite all those close losses, I think would give me confidence if I were a player that, yeah, we can be good again. So I expect that to translate along with the culture and sustained success Matt Rhule has shown in previous stops with building in year 3 to something special. Number 7 is Emmett Johnson, Nebraska's starting running back. He'll fit into Holgorsen's system like a hand in a warm glove. Very tight fit. And the reason I say that is because Holgorsen loves running backs who aren't just effective on the ground, who don't just have great vision, and aren't just straight, downfield guys like Dante Dowdle. He also appreciates and uses running backs who are effective out of the backfield as receivers. And Johnson is that. Johnson had more receiving touchdowns last year, 2 of them, compared to rushing touchdowns, 1. I expect him to probably triple his touchdown total this season, if not maybe get 10 plus touchdowns. Number 8 is the experienced secondary. Nebraska's defense is an area that has concerns. It will be the reason why they don't break through if they don't, from my standpoint. But their secondary has veterans, and I love Sear Wright. Sear Wright had an awesome coverage grade last year, and from my perspective is a fringe All-American corner. And you also have to remember that they have more than just him there. They have Deshaun Singleton, Mario Buford. You got, Bly Hill's injured, sadly, but you have Malcolm Hartzog, Andrew Marshall, who came in from Idaho, who I like to transition from the FCS to the FBS. Well, they have vets there that I think will perform at a high level. Reason number 9 is a weak schedule. We'll get to this in a minute or so, looking at it specifically. They play one preseason top 10 team, and they only play 2 teams ranked in the preseason top 25. So, much like Michigan's schedule, very workable. And then reason number 10 is close losses. And the fact when you lose as many close games as Nebraska did, they won 2 of them. 2. Rutgers and Boston College. Illinois, Ohio State, UCLA, USC, and Iowa. 5 close losses. 2-5. 1-5 in the regular season in close games. that usually means a rebound is imminent. Now, people have been burned by that with Nebraska before under Scott Frost, but Scott Frost never won a bowl game, and Scott Frost never really made drastic coordinator changes until it was clear he was going to get fired that season if things didn't pan out. That's not the case with Rhule. Rhule's been much more proactive, and he helped them break through. So I trust that Nebraska will finally, for the first time in ages, regress to the mean in a positive way in regards to winning and losing close games. Those are my 10 reasons for Nebraska having success. You got the year 3 of Matt Rhule, awesome running backs, specifically Emmett Johnson, legendary receiver upgrades, phenomenal there, staff upgrades, the culture. You also have a workable schedule, and on top of that, an offensive line that I really like to be physical, and wonderful receivers. A lot on the offense. The defense has some reasons why it can be great too, though. I want to look again at this schedule for Nebraska here. Bring that up. They're plus 730 to reach the playoffs, plus 3,300 to reach the Big Ten. Look at how easy this is. I would argue because they host Michigan, I would argue, and also because they play Cincinnati instead of Oklahoma, I'd argue it's even easier than Michigan's. So Cincinnati week 1, Akron week 2, Houston Christian week 3, Michigan week 4. Off the week 5 bye, you play Michigan State week 6, at Maryland and at Minnesota week 7 and 8, Northwestern week 9, USC week 10 at home, at UCLA week 11. Off the week 12 bye, you play at Penn State week 13, host Iowa week 14. Nebraska can win 10 or 11 games with this schedule. They can also win 6 or 7. But I err on the side of, because of the close losses, the staff upgrades, Dylan Raiola in year 2, the receivers they have who can actually make possession catches now, I believe that Nebraska's going to go much closer to that 10 or 11 win range than 6 or 7 wins. I have Nebraska personally, winning 10 games, around 10 games. I think 9-3, 10-2 is what they will achieve this year. And I'm going with 10 wins. They will compete for the playoffs this season. They'll either make it or they'll just be on the cusp and talked about as one of those teams that maybe was snubbed from a college football playoff appearance. Thank you for watching College Football with Sam. Make sure that you've liked the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell for the channel and team playlists and podcasts in the description, join the free Discord server where we talk college football 24/7, and have commented your thoughts down below. Check out the description for any ways you can support the channel monetarily. Everything else I've asked you to do is completely free, and your support means the world to me. We're trying to become the next big thing on college football YouTube. 6-figure subscribers, maybe 1 million one day. I think we can do that. And also check out any videos or playlists, anything in these columns right here, where there will be videos and playlists. Yeah, you get the point. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next one.